If you are in business and you do not remember the last time you got rejected, that just means that you're not shooting your shot enough. Because when it comes down to being able to build your business and to be able to actually get clients, right, you can't be scared of rejection. Matter of fact, you can't be scared of anything when it comes down to outreach and getting your name and your face out there. When it comes down to the elements of brand authority, right, which is your personal brand, your business brand, and your campaign brand, you have to ensure that alongside you building these particular brands, you need to do the outreach. I'm telling you, like honestly, like this week, I've just been busy, busy, busy with outreach. And it's quite interesting because a few years back, I would have been so scared at the thought of doing said outreach, right? And that could be anything. That could be me doing LinkedIn DMs. It could be me cold calling. It could be me just offering my services in person. The nerves will get the better of me, and I just feel like I won't be able to do it. And I suppose now I just feel that I'm no longer scared. I'm no longer scared of the idea of rejection and what that feels like because it's necessary. It is necessary for you to understand what rejection is when it comes down to the idea of looking for more clients, right? And getting more calls in the diary and getting more bookings. Because you don't want to be in a position where you spend so much time faffing around. And that's exactly what it is. And I can speak on this because I've been there. I've been there. So if you are in the process of looking to build up your client pipeline, right, then I have a lot of insights I can share with you based on my own personal experiences. I went from being someone very much nervous to, get my name and face out there to being relentless with my approach of outreach on a daily basis. And when I first started, right, I sent a message and then the no that caught me, it hit me like a ton of bricks. I was thinking, I can't do this. And you will feel like that in the first initial stages. And I'm sure a lot of you listening and watching this right now can attest to that idea that in the beginning it's not easy. But then I would argue that in the beginning for anything, it's never easy. Nothing worth having comes easy. So you might as well just get in the process of learning and get into the times of knowing what you need to do in order to improve and get better. Because for me, I found that the first idea of rejecting the idea of, feeling the pressure of rejection is very vital when it comes down to it. And I did not come from a sales background. It has only been of recent where I would be very much immersed in the elements of sales and the power of sales and the importance of it on the basis that it is the foundations of what it means in order to make business work effectively. And a lot of that comes down to the outreach. And you can't just go and, do the outreach for 5, 10 people and feel like you've hit your range. There's always people that you can reach out to. There are always people you can talk to, and there are always people that you can connect the dots with. And I have found over the last few months, per se, the outreach part has been incredibly beneficial for me because it has allowed me to really understand the patterns, right? And when I talk about the patterns, I mean the idea of what people are particularly looking for. What are they more likely to respond to? What are they most likely not to respond to? And you can only really identify and decipher those patterns within your level of outreach based on you doing it. And I suppose it comes down with anything. You have to be involved in the thing in order to learn a thing or two. You can't just randomly just pop up out of nowhere expecting results and you haven't figured out the patterns. And in some cases, yes, it could happen. But then if you are in the process of building your own brand, building your own business, you have to incorporate the sales aspect of it as soon as feasibly possible. Because one thing that I've noticed, right, when I've been speaking with, you know, people on the journey of building their own brands, right, especially when they're looking to build their business alongside it, A lot of the ideas will be, they're developing a list of people they're going to do outreach to. They're going to reach out to them. And weeks will go by. Weeks will go by, and I'll ask, so have you done the outreach yet? Oh, no, I haven't. I'm doing this or that. I need to put this stuff together. And I've been there. I've been there. I know what that is. And that is called procrastination. That is called procrastination. And if you are not careful, that is going to ruin you and ruin your business, because you are not being proactive in terms of what it means in order to generate leads and then generate clients for your business. And for me, I know for a lot of us, it all ultimately comes down to the fear of doing it. We are scared to look silly. We are scared to say something wrong. We are scared to hear no, or we are scared to see no, or we're just scared of just plain old rejection. But I assure you, when you start to embrace the aspect of rejection, you start to love rejection, you then start to be in the process where it doesn't matter what anyone says in relation to what you are offering, right? And you have to always approach the aspect with positive intent. You cannot ever assume that the person on the other end doesn't want to speak with you or is not interested in your services or your offering or whatever you have. You cannot assume negatively. You have to assume positive intent, because if you go in there, whether you are sending a message or whether you are cold calling, the approach that is going to be negative, then best believe you will not be well prepared for the situation for when it's actually a positive outcome or a positive response. And that is probably where most of the process of sales are lost, in the process where you expected the worst and you didn't know how to prepare for when things were ultimately on your side. So with that in mind, it is incredibly important. You have to understand the importance of rejection in business and in sales. It is the only way you can progress, right? And for myself, what was really powerful for me was just sort of really lining up and establishing what is my max capacity of clients when it comes down to doing the work that I do, right? And give or take, it isn't that many. It isn't that many, right? It is within the ranges of 5 to 6, maybe per se, in terms of consistent amounts of clients throughout that time. So, with that in mind, if I am doing outreach, then you have to focus on the idea of large numbers, right? The law of large numbers and the law of averages. Because if I reach out to as many people as feasibly possible, having conversations or starting conversations, sharing assets, sharing my know-how, my expertise in a way that can create a conversation and a way that can actually book in calls, out of the hundreds of people that I will be doing the outreach to and reaching out to directly, all in all, it doesn't necessarily need to be that many people in order for it to make sense. And even then, you doing that particular outreach, you are nurturing people in that approach. Because a lot of the time, you have to remember, no, they don't know you. In the grand scheme of things, when you are offering your services to strangers, they have no idea who you are. All they want to know is if you can help, right? And you need to understand that based on the buying signals that you've established, based on who it is that you are selling to. And when you get to that stage, then you also need to be very mindful that you are there to build and nurture the relationship with these people, right? You are not going straight in for the approach of the sell, because chances are they will smell the sales breath on you. Even if you are messaging them, they can smell it a mile away, and they are not going to be interested, because you are approaching from the aspect of, I am trying to get money from this person, so I'm going to sell my services, rather than I want to be a asset and I want to be able to serve this person in order to help them achieve their business outcomes. Those are two different things. Those are two different things when it comes down to the approach of reaching people and actually wanting to help people. So with that in mind, that is how you actually build and nurture people for the long term. So when it comes down to you continuing to build and develop your brand and your business, you will have a long list of people who you have created relationships with on the basis that you've done the reach outs. You've done the reach outs and you nurtured them by providing expertise and know-how and knowledge that can help them in the pursuit of what they are doing. And on that basis, they will only remember you because you didn't approach on a straight sales approach. You provided value. And when you provide value and you are in the process of being in a sort of realm of abundance, and you realize you don't need to be selling to these people right away. You create a relationship and you build over time. And then when the time is right and you know that your offer and your services can align with what they need to do to help them achieve their dream outcome, then it's a done deal. Then you have that conversation and then you make things work towards that. But then you have to bear in mind the approach of nurturing leads. It can take days, it can take weeks, it can take months, it can even take years. So with that in mind, why do you just start doing the outreach now to prepare for the times when they will be warm enough for you to actually just reach out and say, you know what, I have an idea or something I can do to help you. Let's have a chat. And by then, they know you already. They've seen your content. They've seen your approach of how you do business. They've seen proof and testimonials of you doing good work with other people that they respect within their industry. And it's a done deal. Like, honestly, you have to be in the position where rejection is no longer a thing that will hold you back when it comes down to doing what you need to do in your business. And as I say for all of my videos, these videos is down to me being in a position where I've been through it and I'm sharing with you, or I've been in the position and I'm wanting to share the outcomes of what that meant, or I'm in the field with you. I'm literally in the process. It's either one of those particular aspects of where I'm coming from when I drop these daily videos. So that's it for this video, man. That's it for this video. I would say you need to be someone that embraces rejection in all forms. And when you start to do that, and then you start to have an appreciation for it, then you know how to navigate when it comes down to when the right person says yes. So on that note, please make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you tomorrow. Peace out. Look after yourself.